Chloe, welcome to the podcast. Why don't you give us a rundown of who you are, where you are in the world, and what your business is like?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Chloe Reynolds. I'm with Compass. I'm the team lead of a small team here in Chicago. We cover all of Chicagoland as well as the North Shore, Northwest suburbs. We're kind of all over. We go where the business goes and have extensions on my team of suburban agents as well.
That's awesome. You're from Chicago originally?
I'm not. I'm from SoCal, but I've been in Chicago for 15 years almost.
Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So what made you move from SoCal to Chicago?
It's like the number one question I get asked in my life. I'd say the easy answer is that I went to college in Michigan. So it was a really easy transition from that. So yeah, I've been in the Midwest since I was 18. So pretty much like half my life. Yeah.
What do you love about living in the Midwest versus living in SoCal?
Oh my gosh, it's so different in like every single way. But my favorite thing is the people for sure. That Midwest, like salt of the earth energy. People are so kind. There's no ulterior motives or plans really with the people here. Unlike Southern California, it can be a little social climby maybe. But no shade on yeah. But so yeah, the people here are very kind. I always say if you're on the street corner looking confused, somebody will stop and say, "Are you trying to go somewhere? Where are you trying to go? And let me help figure it out." And that is just so unique to Chicago.
Yeah, a little different than New York when you're standing on the street corner looking confused. Someone will say, "Get the hell out of my way."
Yeah, literally. I mean, in New York, there's a common respect on the sidewalk. Like you stay to the right, you stay to the left. If you're just like standing in the sidewalk,
Stand next to the building.
like they get out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
Chicago is similar, but
Sometimes it depends on what part of Chicago you're hanging out in, I suppose.
I guess like the downtown Miracle Mile shopping crazy area is probably a little more like that than some of the more suburban areas. So I guess speaking to that, is there a part of the city that you are drawn to personally that you love?
Yeah, anything on our east side, I love. I'm just being a California girl. I love being near the water. Our Gold Coast is just second to none. Definitely my favorite neighborhood in the city. Lots of good shopping and restaurants and just very clean. I just recently moved to the west side. So I'm in the West Loop now, which is, God, what would that be? It would almost be like West Village, maybe for you guys. We probably think we're like West Village, but we're not as, we're not as cool, but we try. But yeah, like best restaurants are down here and like just very hip. It's where everybody wants to live. So yeah, I just moved here about a month ago and it's been such an adjustment. It's totally different energies. It's so much like New York where depending on what neighborhood you're in, it feels different. It has a different energy.
yeah. Now, for people who might not be familiar with Chicago, we hear about West Loop, South Loop. Like, what does that really mean?
Yeah. The loop is like our epicenter of, gosh, probably like that would be like proper Manhattan for you guys, like Midtown maybe. And then everything kind of like branches around it. So it's our center. So we have, the Mag Mile is just above the loop. And then we have the West Loop. We're obviously just west to South Loop is south. And then to the east is essentially the lake. So Lake Michigan. So yeah, that's kind of how the river is really the dividing line between the loop and everything else. So we have River North. I know Denver calls it River North Rhino, which I think is so cool. I'm trying to make happen. We should call it that. It sounds fun. But yeah, so there's a lot of tiny niche downtown markets for sure. We kind of joke that like if you live in the loop, you didn't know anybody in Chicago or like you didn't have a good broker because nobody lives in the loop. Unlike maybe like your financial district, which I hear is actually poppin'. Somebody told me people are like really living there, but it is where all the businesses are. It's all big.
Yeah, one of my best friends from college, when I went to visit her, she's from Chicago. She grew up in the West Loop, and it was so interesting to go visit her. This was like 15 years ago at this point, and I'm sure the Loop has changed so much in the past 15 years, but it just felt very. It did not feel like a place a lot of people lived, but it was a beautiful place. It was a beautiful apartment.
But yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And great views sometimes, but definitely not like the loop shuts down at around 6 p.m. every day. And you can really go down there after that. So
Yeah.
So I guess for people who are maybe less familiar with Chicagoland, how do you help them sort of figure out where's their space? Because my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is you have all these different neighborhoods that have very different feels, all the way up towards the suburbs where it can really feel like you're not in the city anymore.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
some of the suburbs are city, like Evanston is a big city.
It is, yeah, yeah, definitely, and same with like Wilmette or Winnetka, Glenview. You can feel city vibes a little bit. I would even say there's a lot of Chicago neighborhoods that feel very suburban, which is kind of cool. So I really try to get to know my clients and understand like what their lifestyle is, what their priorities are. Do they have kids? Are they what stage of life are they in? Because there's kind of like a neighborhood for you in every stage. I mean, you can totally make anything work uh, depending on what stage of life you're in, also depending on your preferences, but getting to know the client at a base level and how they enjoy just spending their time is how I help guide them. And I think it can really narrow down, where they're hoping to live.
What's the housing stock in Chicago like? I know Chicago is a very old city, but I know there was a huge fire at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Single family home wise or just in general.
In general, like what do you got?
It is like, as I say, kind of like the tale of two cities here. It is a completely different market depending on if you're downtown, anything around the loop, with the exception of the West Loop, is a complete buyer's market. It's kind of like how low can we go in and how much of a deal can we get on these properties versus literally anywhere else in the city is such an intense seller's market. I'm writing 15% over asking and losing. There's no comps for what's happening right now in our market. So it's been a very, very strange year and super competitive. So having a good broker who understands the market and who knows how to write a good offer has been pivotal in success in this market. It's been a very tough year for buyers.
What's driving that dichotomy? Is there a reason that certain parts of your city are, selling so quickly and other parts are sitting?
Yeah, I would say a couple of reasons. Everybody seems to need a 2-bedroom plus a condo. So the people who used to be okay with living in a 1-bed, including like single females or males, whatever, suddenly need 2 bedrooms because a lot of people are working from home. So I think that's kind of just shifted the market so dramatically. So a 2-bed, 2-bath is like ground zero, most competitive thing you could possibly want, even over a single family home or, something larger. So there's such a demand for these 2-bed, 2-baths that it started, an intense amount of competition for it. People who are looking for the 3-bed, 2-baths or whatever, the duplexes, they can't find it because those people are looking for single family homes. Those don't exist either. It kind of starts at the top. There's no single family homes being built because of lack of land, right? And then it trickles down. I would say in general, people are, wanting to live in a little bit more spread out neighborhoods also. So the Loop, Streeterville, South Loop, anything that's like high density, people are just shying away from. I think that's driving all of the buyers into these outskirt neighborhoods as well. So just classic supply and demand, more or less. Yeah.
That makes sense. What's pricing been like for the past couple of years? Like, are prices going up? Are they going down? Is it kind of staying level? Like, what are we seeing?
It again depends on the market, but for sure in like the hot markets, anywhere outside of the downtown markets, we're seeing like 2 to 3% increase year over year of equity. So I would always tell clients, if you want to stay here less than 3 years, you may not make a profit. You probably will just break even because there's brokerage, there's transfer taxes. It costs about 7% to trade out of a house here in Chicago of the purchase price. Uh, that was the case year over year. We were a very stable, conservatively growing market in Chicago. In 2026, there are no comparable properties for a lot of the neighborhoods. We are seeing unprecedented prices. We're seeing people just paying way over asking. I tell my clients, you need to be willing to spend 10 to 15% over list to possibly secure it. Now that we're in June, it's like 15 to 20. And even then, cash has entered our market in a way that I have never seen before. It's really, it's a market that I've never seen. I've never seen it this competitive in my career. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. So it's unique right now. It's great for sellers, but sellers have somewhere, they need to go too. So it's where I think, also those low interest rates are affecting the market, where if you have a 2, to 3% rate, it's really hard to justify giving that up unless it's completely necessary. I know you guys do a lot of cash in New York, right? A lot of cash deals. So it's less affected by the rates, but rates are almost 7% right now. So to go from a 2 or 3% to a 7%, you got to really want to move.
Yeah.
It always surprises me when I look at real estate in Chicago coming from New York, because I look in a comparable neighborhood to like something in like the West Village, like looking at the water, like it's something really beautiful. Like I look in Lincoln Park, I look in Andersonville. I'm seeing these beautiful places and I'm seeing them for a lot less than what you would get in New York. So are a lot of people like having that same experience when they're relocating to Chicago? Like, is there sticker shock in a good way?
Yeah, I wish there was more sticker shock. That's such a good question. I'm with you where, not just being from SoCal and seeing the outrageous prices that happen in LA and Orange County, but I mean, I say this all the time. I'm like, think about every big city in the country, and you can take out New York and you can take out LA and you can take out San Francisco, but think of all the other ones. Think about Boston, think about Seattle, think about, Austin, Texas, all the big cities. We are so undervalued. I mean, you can get a 2-bed, 2-bath in the Gold Coast, the most, fancy neighborhood in Chicago, for $500,000. Like
That's
that,
crazy.
it's crazy. I mean, it's like, that's not possible in any other big city, not just New York or LA. It's in any city. It's, so I wish, to answer your question, I wish people kind of saw it like that. I think because we're in the Midwest, we're so underrated, I think. And our weather is not that, tragic compared to other cities. Also, I think, New York gets hit brutally every winter too. Like we all get our winter storms.
Yeah.
But
this past winter was rough, but usually we were mild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got a couple like big snowstorms, right? And then,
this year, yeah.
But that's not like the norm for us.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, the weather is changing, not to get like political, but global warming, I think, is very real. And I think
no.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
We've now alienated our Trump base on this podcast.
Avidly watching. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see it. It's like this week is 90 degrees and raining. Like, what's going on here? So I think it's a tragedy, but it's also helping Chicago because our winters are getting so much more mild. Our summers are lasting into October a little. Like, it's really stretching out the warm weather here. So yeah, I guess to go back to your original question, people don't have that sticker shock in the way that I do, even sometimes when I zoom out of our market. But on occasion, people are like really pleasantly surprised on how much they can afford in Chicago, which is great to see.
Yeah, we absolutely love Chicago as far as, cities that we've visited.
I would love to live there.
It's one of the only places I think we've ever considered living other than New York.
Yeah, totally.
And I think one of the reasons is, sort of what you've implied with the lake and the affordability and the feeling that it feels urban, but has this suburban kind of feel to it.
I mean, that's what we love about where we live in New York City. It's very like that. Like, it doesn't feel overwhelming here the way that like Midtown and downtown do.
But I will say, last time we were in Chicago, we had a bone to pick with the city. We did. Remember?
No, I don't remember.
Oh my God.
Tell me.
You guys had such bad corn sweat.
Oh.
It was so hot and humid. It was I'm from South Florida.
Okay.
And that corn sweat,
when
humidity,
were we
and
there?
heat,
I don't remember.
It was around
August.
It was, I think, in August.
I think it was August.
August.
It was so miserable. We were in, I think, Rogers Park, and we walked over to the lake and we just sat down in the cold water, just sat in the lake. It was really, that part was nice, but I haven't experienced that kind of humidity, and I'm a Florida boy.
I know. I'm telling you.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It gets hot. It gets hot. It gets hot. It gets cold. I'm not going to
Yeah. But it was super nice to experience the lake for the first time there. Not that it was our first time like going to the lake, but like actually like
going in it.
Like going to the beach and like and like going like, and the fact that you could like walk so far out into the lake really surprised me, because obviously the ocean is not like that.
Totally.
So that was really fun. So when you get a new client who's relocating to the area, how do you coach them about where they should be looking, like how they should be orienting their search? Like what's your process like for that?
Yeah, I think, where they work matters. And so if people are, working in the loop or working in the suburbs, having that close proximity to the main veins that'll get you there is huge. And then, lifestyle is super important. If people are really active and want to be like near bike trails, you really can't, if you're a biker, there are places to bike. You can go down the Lakeshore Path. I used to do it literally every single day, and it was a ritual that meant a lot to me. And so if that's part of your life, you've got to be on the east side of the city. So just kind of figuring out what people, how to get them to work, and then what do they like to do. Also, depending on if they're, rental or buying clients, we're such a rental heavy city. I think it's not a bad idea to rent sometimes for a year while you figure out what neighborhood you want to be in. So I kind of encourage that actually if somebody's feeling really confused about it. But that's kind of where I start. We have a great public transportation system here in Chicago. So, getting people near the lines they need to be is kind of the first step, I would say.
Yeah. Is it like a subway train, or is it like for someone who's never been to Chicago, like what's the public transport like?
Yeah, we call it the L. So we probably have 10 different lines, which is what the L stands for, that go in different directions, north, south, east, west. Some go at a diagonal, but some of them are above ground. Most of them are below, and it really can connect you everywhere you want to go. I mean, nowadays we Uber everywhere, especially as us brokers, we kind of drive everywhere, but there's such an easy way to get to where you want to go. However, if you're commuting to a certain place 5 days a week, having like the cheapest, quickest option is super important. So.
Yeah. Is driving around the city getting expensive? Like in New York, it's getting expensive because they're adding a lot of new tolls.
That's right.
To a lot of different
with Ubers, right? Or just
in general, if you're driving your own car below, I believe 60th Street, it's $9 during the day up until like 10 p.m., I think, or 9 p.m. And then it's like $3. So it's like riding the subway.
We don't have that, but I will say, to pay to park in, downtown, it's $9 an hour for 2 hours. So if you
That's like free.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, it's $9. Yeah. But,
sometimes I'll park and get the ticket and be like, it's just as much as the parking, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's $65, whatever.
Yeah. But still, I would say I was just having this conversation with a client yesterday because she's moving here with her teenagers and they want to bring her car. They're moving from Colorado. And I said, to have a car in Chicago costs me about $2,000 a month. So if you think they can afford that, but I would rather, if as a young gal, I'd rather have that be going towards my rent and have a nicer place to live and take Ubers or walk, explore the city. So I mean, that's of course including like a car payment, but it's quite expensive to have a car in Chicago just in general. Your insurance, your parking tickets, I account for. You kind of have to budget for them because they're inevitable.
Yeah.
But paying to park on the street, it really adds up. Yeah. So if you can take public transportation or avoid bringing a car, I would definitely suggest that. Yeah.
What do you see is driving the migration to
driving
the migration to Chicago right now? Like what industries is it different than it was 10 years ago? Like, is education, healthcare? Like what are the industries that are bringing people?
Yeah, we definitely have a couple great universities here. We have Northwestern, obviously, U Chicago, DePaul, and Loyola. And then we also have Columbia, not the Columbia, but our art school, Columbia, its little sister. So we have 5 universities here that are, some of them quite prestigious. That definitely draws people in. We have Google here now. We have McDonald's here, and then we have Salesforce. We have a massive Salesforce town.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Burger University. Is
Oh
that what it
yeah,
is?
Hamburger.
yeah. I'm literally
Burger University.
at it right now. I'm right. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we've got a couple big businesses here that are drawing people in. I've had a couple relo clients who work at BP and then also Google over the past couple of years. So I would say those are the biggest ones that bring in people our age. But yeah, we don't have like a massive tech boom like some cities, but just more so larger corporations. I would say also we do a lot of filming here. I think a lot of the film industry is coming to Chicago, so they shoot obviously The Bear, but they've shot a lot of movies here that temporarily bring in a lot of people. So yeah, my clientele, I get a lot of relocation people from athletes or I would say from coaches who work at the universities. I do a lot of basketball coaches. So when they have turnover within the staff, I help their relocating coaches come in and find a place to live.
Are there certain things that you have to prepare your relocation clients for that they wouldn't expect about your market? We often say like we're an attorney state or we have a lot of co-ops that are unique and other markets don't have those things.
Yeah.
What do you have to kind of prep your clients with?
Yeah, I would say really the most important thing is that depending on where you want to move, it's going to really dictate how we go about obtaining the property. So depending on which neighborhood it's a different conversation with the client. So right now I have a client, like I told you about, who's moving from Denver, and she is looking in Lincoln Park on River North, South Loop. And, our strategies are different depending on what she's writing an offer on. That's kind of like my biggest prepping and setting expectations for clients. We're an attorney state too, which thank God I really don't I don't know how people do it without our attorneys. I love my attorney, and it just really keeps the wheels on the entire transaction. So people, I think, are really grateful for that help, especially when they're moving from out of state. Do you guys find the same? People are,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. I mean, especially people coming from Florida, they're very confused at why they would need an attorney because
Yeah.
what do you mean? I have you. You're the broker. It's like, yeah, I'm not writing a contract for you.
Florida market is such a wild place. I don't understand. Like I would be confused too.
And everybody down there has their license, so it's like,
yes.
how do you even?
Yes.
Yeah,
is it like that in New York too, where there's a lot of brokers, like oversaturated, or not so much?
There's a lot of brokers, but only because like our population is huge.
Yeah.
I feel like in Florida, I feel like people get their license just for fun or like for a side hustle or whatever. Like people here, they get their license to like actually do the job. I feel like even if it's for like a year and they fail out, like they're like giving it the good old try,
I
like
hear more
Florida
people,
is more like I'm trying to get referral fees.
Right. I feel like in New York, more people will say, oh, I used to have my license. Oh, I had my license at one point, but it's expensive. They don't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Florida, so many people I know, it's like, yeah, I have my license. I got it years ago and I still have it.
And I'll sell like one house a year, or I'll like help my friend find something. And I'm like, why would anyone hire you?
Right. Because I don't know. Yeah, it's frustrating because we have to work with those people, right? I'm really passionate about elevating the industry. And when I first became a broker, well, first of all, I always wanted to be an agent since I was like a little kid, which is so strange to say. But all the realtors in Orange County were like successful. They were always at our games. They're always around. They had good personalities. And I was like, God, I want to do that. So when I got into the industry, I was so disappointed by the level of professionalism and just overall, like my colleagues. I was so disturbed by it, honestly. I want to be really proud of what I do. And so that's why I do a lot of volunteer work and a lot of just trying to give back to like the YP, the young professionals in the industry, because I think you lead by example, first of all. And second of all, I think that we just need to all, be our highest, best versions. So I'm really passionate about that.
I love that. So when people are going from just relocating to Chicago for a job and like transitioning to like, I love Chicago. I want to like build my real life here for the long haul. And they're coming to you and like moving from a West Loop where there's no like real connection. Like, how do you guide them on like where to settle like for the long?
Yeah, yeah. We say that Chicago kind of has like a life cycle if you stay here for the long haul. So you kind of live in, the Gold Coast or the West Loop until you have a child or two and they become that school age. And then everybody picks it up and goes to the suburbs, honestly. And it's only, 45 minutes from the city. So a lot of people go to the North Shore, to Glenview, to Oak Park, and then they'll stay there in these, really elevated school systems for, age 5 to 18, essentially. So they'll be up there for 14 years or so. And then they come back and then they are like, all about Chicago. They get their, in town in the city. And that's the life cycle of living in Chicago for the most part. Yeah, it's
So
cute.
you find a lot of people move back after they have kids and they're done with the expensive school district. Like they want the more affordable city life.
Yeah, yeah. There's some great public schools in the city, but and there's a ton of private options.
Right.
For the most part, our suburban neighborhoods have incredible schools. You'll pay for it a bit with the taxes; they're a little bit higher. Our taxes here are 2% to 2 to 3 a year, depending on the neighborhood. So yeah, that's kind of the full life cycle. Some people do stay in the city and they'll get that single family home. They'll go into Roscoe Village or Bucktown, kind of like a little bit more to the west, but very rare to have to stay in the downtown areas with a family.
What are your favorite suburbs right now? If you were looking to move to a
Again.
suburb, where would you be going?
Yeah, I am a sucker for the North Shore. I just think it's there's definitely like a downtown feel. So Wilmette, Winnetka, Kenilworth, all those along the lake are kind of my top choice. But I also love Glenview. I think there's like a very nice community in Glenview. There's no pretension over there. It's very there's a lot of space. Your money goes a little bit further. So I'm a big advocate of people going to Glenview. We have a listing right now in a neighborhood called Grays Lake. That's just idyllic suburb. They have their little downtown, but just tons of green space, lots of walking trails, little like lakes all around, and I'm really into Grays Lake right now as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, in New York, when people want to get out of the city or get out of like these more compact suburbs, we go to the Hamptons, we go to the Catskills, maybe we go to the Poconos, Jersey Shore. In Chicago, where are people going to vacation? That's not like a flight away, but like a 1 to 3 hour drive away.
Yeah, a lot of
Where are they in homes?
for the summer. Yeah, a lot of people go to Michigan. So a lot of people, summer homes in Michigan. Some people will go Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin. But yeah, those are like basically just to loop to the other side of the lake. So we're on, this side and then to loop to the other side is, 2 to 2 hours and feels like a completely different atmosphere. Some people will travel to Traverse City, which is northern Michigan, but it's less than an hour flight, really simple across the lake in that direction. So yeah, that's where we're seeing people spend time and get second homes as well.
Do people do the? Oh, I'm sorry. Do people do those like short flights a lot? Like
Yeah,
those
yeah, I
little
would
hop?
say so. It's so easy to do, and we have a couple different airports that are so accessible as well that it round trip can just be like 2-3 hours, the same amount of time it would take you to drive to your lake house in Michigan. So yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Are there any like restaurants in Chicagoland that you're just like loving right now that you want to give a shout out?
I mean, the food scene is incredible there. Every time we have a great meal.
I know we've never had a bad meal.
No.
No, I swear we rival New York. I know we like to think that we're like New York in so many ways, and we're totally.
No, but you do.
We do. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
you have the best food here. Yeah. I love, love, love Monteverde. I feel really lucky to have just moved a couple blocks from it, but incredible Italian food. They have a long bar and then a long mirror on above the bar where you can watch these two nonas making pasta all day long, and it's just like dinner. Oh,
I think I saw that on TikTok
did
also.
you? Oh, really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cute. I mean, it's impossible to get a reservation, but I think the bar is where you want to sit anyway, just for the pasta making show. So that's probably my favorite restaurant. Yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah, we've been to a few different restaurants there that I just love, like Cafe Barbariba, Barbariba. Where else have I been? Athenian Room is one of my favorites.
If money were no object, where would you want to live in Chicagoland?
The Gold Coast for sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's not that the price point is so high there, as I kind of described. You could get a 2-bedroom for $500K, but the HOAs and the taxes are so high. It's not uncommon to pay like upwards of $2,000 a month just for your HOAs. So it kind of levels out the purchase price a little bit. But really cool, unique high rises. There's a lot of co-ops in the Gold Coast too, which, you kind of like love or hate, but I'm into the co-op personally. So yeah, I hope to be back there. I think I'm just feeling especially nostalgic for it since I've been in the West Loop for about a month, but yeah, for sure the Gold Coast.
Do you think you'll stay in the West Loop for a long time, or?
I don't
No.
think I will. Yeah, I don't think I'm a West Side girly. I think, especially for our job, for me, and just, functionality, the Gold Coast is right in the middle of the city. It takes 10, 15 minutes to go north, south, and west. So I love being in the center of it and on the water. And I think that it's just like peak Chicago, awesome views. The West Loop is really cool. I spend, a lot of time here, so I thought it would make sense to live here, but I'll be back to the Gold Coast.
After just a month.
I waited here. I know, it's fine.
What prompted the move?
My condo sold. Yeah. So I was just renting. But yeah, I figured while I was renting, I would try a different neighborhood. And like I said, I'm always in the West Loop. I'm here probably 4 or 5 days a week when I didn't live here. My gym's here. Just socially, all the restaurants that I love are here. So I think there's something nice about having a little bit of separation of where you spend time and where you live also. And for me, I realized that prioritizing when you live in the city and you're so stimulated all the time, I think having that mixture of nature is pivotal for me. So it keeps you kind of like grounded, and you don't feel that chaotic energy of the city as much when you have a lake to look out on, or lots of trees and parks. So the West Loop's a quick 10-minute drive from the Gold Coast. So yeah, I think finding your balance is important. Some people want to be in the thick of the city and like wake up and be energized by it. And I think because I'm out and about all day long, when I come home, I want it to be a peaceful, recharging place. So that's what I've discovered.
Are any misconceptions you think that are out there about Chicago, other than about maybe weather, that you'd want to dispel?
Yeah.
Well, that it's a war, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, people call it Chirac, or I don't know if they do anymore, but I mean, I think it's tough to talk about safety, of course, but I would say that every city has their problems in their own ways, but Chicago is not unique in our crime or in our violence or anything like that. We are a very segregated city, and we really are the most. So there's a huge difference between the downtown areas and what's happening on the super south side. And what happens there is not any indication of what's going on in the city proper, I would say. So yeah, the headlines are very misleading. There's a lot of clickbait about Chicago. It's a very peaceful, kind, welcoming city. Probably, I would say, one of the most in the entire country.
So you're saying we shouldn't believe everything we read?
Yeah, I know. It's shocking to hear it. Yeah, for sure. Not
weird
news.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll have to like recalibrate my brain for that one.
It's hard to grasp.
Claire, thank you so much. This has been really great.
Yeah, of course.
This has been awesome. Why don't you remind us who you are, where you work, and
where people can find you.
And where people can find you.
Yeah, of course. I'm Chloe Reynolds. I'm with Compass Chicago, and you can find me at Chloe Reynolds Real Estate on Instagram.
Awesome. I'm Aaron.
I'm Jeff.
And this has been the Relocation Rundown. We'll see you next time.
Bye.